Good God. Welcome back, folks. It's Patty Orange Hat here. Star Trek actor LeVar Burton threatens to physically assault members of Moms for Liberty who don't want small children reading sexually explicit material in school libraries. This man apparently wants to assault women. So let's get into it, shall we? Shout out to John F. Trent from Bounding into Comics for this. LeVar Burton, known for his role as Geordi LaForge in Star Trek, The Next Generation, and presenting the children's show Reading Rainbow on PBS Kids, recently threatened to physically assault members of Moms for Liberty. According to Publishers Weekly, LeVar Burton hosted a National Book Awards and opened the ceremony by stating, "Before we get going, if there's any Moms of Liberty in the house, no? Good. Then hands will not need to be thrown tonight." I mean, honestly, dude, are you seriously that twisted that you wanted to get into physical confrontations with women over a difference of opinion? So, yeah. This is kind of pathetic, folks. It is unclear why Burton threatened Moms for Liberty members, but Burton did recently give an interview with Esquire that was published the same day his remarks were given at the National Book Awards. In the interview, he was asked, "In all of your advocacy work, do you hear anything from young people affected by book bans?" He responded, "Here's the thing. I think it's the responsibility of the adults in the room to advocate for those kids, because in many cases, they don't know what they're missing. And they won't know what they're missing because they won't get it. Because these people are in some cases being successful." He added, "One of the many things I'm most thrilled about is that hardly any candidates backed by Moms for Liberty won their races. There are bright spots, but these are people who would rather children not know the truth. Those kids will never know what they're missing. Actually, they'll eventually know because the parents will eventually teach them." Yeah, apparently you don't know that, dude. So, moving on, but it's our job to stand up for them, to be their voices and advocates. And that's what being an elder in this society means to me. So, I'm about to get very rated R here, folks. So, if your kids are in the room, get them out of here. You want to let kids have access to books that, in some cases, show a young boy giving oral sex to another boy. That was proven shown in a lot of these town halls where parents are ticked off at school boards for allowing this stuff to be in those schools. If you don't believe me, look it up. It's all over the frickin' internet, folks. There was a couple of parents that got kicked out because they were reading passages from these books. And the school board was freaking out, saying you can't talk like that in these board or in these meetings. But yet they are saying that these books are allowed in the schools for kids? So let's get into this further. According to Moms of Liberty website, what the organization opposes is sexually explicit material in school libraries. Their website notes they oppose books in school libraries that have graphic showing sex acts, not in a medical or educational way, extreme profanity, detailed descriptions of masturbation, oral, anal, and vaginal sex, forced oral sex, rape and sexual assault, incest, pedophilia, and teaching kids how to use sex apps and what websites to use. All of these things that they have covered, they have had books that have expressed all of this. Why else would they have come up with this stuff? It's because they have seen these things expressed in schools. So speaking with Newsweek last November, Moms for Liberty co-founder Tiffany Justice told the outlet, "We're not looking to ban any books." She then referenced a call for Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett book to be canceled. There were people that don't want the book to be published. That's banning books. Our moms are saying, write the book, publish the book, print the book, sell the book wherever you'd like to sell it, but don't put it in a public school library if it has explicit sexual content in it. Honestly, I wouldn't want my kids learning about it like that. Not in a way that they are unable to come to the parents, because it's the parents' responsibility to teach their kids about this stuff. It is not the school's responsibility to teach them about this stuff, folks. The organization also responded to Burton's threat, writing on X, "American moms weep as a childhood favorite reading Rainbow calls for physical attacks against us because we are protecting the innocence of our children." They added, "LeVar Burton, why have you sunk so low? Threatening physical violence against women." Burton is no stranger to insane comments and threats such as this one back in 2021. He claimed that cancel culture was misnamed and should instead be called consequence culture. During an appearance on The View, Burton was asked about the Dr. Seuss estate discontinuing 6 of their books. He said, "It's interesting because I just, for the Seuss Foundation, did a voiceover for a video that they have put together to remind us that Dr. Seuss is more than simply a company that decided to put a couple of books on the shelf to take them out of that rotation. That man, Theodore Geisel, Dr. Seuss, is responsible for generations of wholesome, healthy, wonderful, imaginative, creative content for children of all ages. And I think we need to put things in perspective." He then addressed cancel culture. In terms of cancel culture, I think it's misnamed. That's a misnomer. I think we have a consequence culture, and that consequences are finally encompassing everybody in the society, whereas they have been ever, or where they haven't been ever in this country. I think that they are good signs that are happening in the culture right now. And I think it has everything to do with the new awareness on people who are simply unaware of the real name or the real nature of life in this country for people who have been othered since this nation began. Except that this other thing that he's talking about transgenderism. He's talking about the non-binaryism. Transgenderism has been a mental disorder for quite some time, folks. And yes, I do say mental disorder because for many years, that is exactly what it has been called. And it is still very much a mental disorder. It is a person thinking they are a different gender when they are born when they are in fact the gender they were born as. And so they mutilate themselves in an attempt to fit the body that they think that they are. Then you have those delusional people who think that they are outside of a scientific fact that has been around for thousands of years about the binaryism of nature. Nature is binary, male and female. There is no in-between. Well, unless you are talking about the hermaphroditic in-between, where you are literally both. There is no reality in which exists that a person is neither male nor female. That is up in their head. And that is not wrong to say. That is stating actual fact, not the scientific facts that are being controlled by government and by people who agree with the government and go against actual science. Continuing. Burton also previously indicated he assumes the worst in white people no more than they do for him. A user questioned Burton, "Is it possible that you just assume the worst about white people due to their race?" He responded, "No more than white people do because of mine." And here's the thing, LeVar, I have never looked at you based on the basis of race. I have always ever respected you because of your talent as an actor. Growing up, I thought it was cool to be like Geordie LaForge and have the visor on, man. And you being blind only added to the coolness, because then you showed that you could persevere past limitation. Didn't matter what your skin color was. But anyway, continuing on. What do you make of Burton threatening to physically assault members of Moms of Liberty for not wanting their children to be exposed to sexually explicit material in school libraries? I think it is very disheartening that the person that I grew up with on Reading Rainbow, Star Trek The Next Generation, is wanting to physically harm women simply because they don't want their kids to be exposed to something that they are mentally not ready for. This is a very important thing, folks. Kids should not be exposed to sexually explicit materials at a young age when their minds are not ready to process it. So yeah, I think that LeVar Burton has indeed sunk to a very, very disgusting low. And honestly, it's not like he's going to face any consequences for it. But I do want you all to be informed of just how much these celebrities think they are untouchable. And how they say some of the most disgusting things. And yet, rarely ever have any sort of consequences for it. That is going to be the video, folks. You all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think of this? Are you disgusted by what this man has said? Wanting to physically go after women simply for a different point of view? Or do you think that he has a point and that he's actually or justified in doing it? Let me know your thoughts, folks. This has been Orange Chat. Y'all have a wonderful day. Stay humble.